Friends in Christ, Pastor Brian here in front of our vacation Bible school backdrop. My wife Karen and I returned from a trip a little over a week ago. Once in a lifetime vacation to Europe, taking a cruise down the Rhine River from Amsterdam to Basel, Switzerland. Now I'm deeply thankful for the privilege of being able to leave for the amount of time that trip takes, and for all those who made sure things kept ticking along here at St. John while we were gone. Now, I'm still processing the trip and what I learned from it, but I thought I would share with you some initial reactions from this first trip ever to Europe. We flew into Amsterdam, and it landed early in the morning, and went to the train station, caught a train from the airport into the city to get to our hotel. And I have to admit, other than the obvious addition of Dutch to the announcements, the train ride into Amsterdam felt like I was going from O'Hare into Chicago. I saw the same traffic on the interstates. It was the same urban vibe. It felt more familiar than strange to me. And that was something that I noticed time and again throughout the trip. While there were obvious cultural differences in language and style of housing, the cars on the road, it struck me again that well, these are just people. There were ones that I could just as well have met on the streets of Ely or up in Cedar Rapids. I saw parents trying to wrangle their children as they were out and about. We saw lots of folks in their RVs camped by the river for a short holiday. I heard the regional rivalries expressed with the same good humor, yet a little bit of an edge that you get about Iowa and Nebraska. I saw people who took deep pride in their family businesses, working on the land, who slept in their car while waiting for their children to get done at the disco so they could get a ride home. I saw people who loved their jobs and people who really hated their job, at least at that moment. Also, while no one ever mentioned it, I was aware of the fact that I was the same distance from Kyiv, Ukraine, which was pounded by Russian drones and missiles at least 3 times during our visit. I was the same distance from Kyiv as it is from Ely to Orlando, Florida. It's about 1,200 miles. Now, that's quite the distance, to be sure. But still, you imagine that conflict would be present in their thinking more than it is to us here. But mostly I was reminded that despite the fact that this was a place with deep history. For example, Amsterdam was celebrating their 750th anniversary of being a city. Despite all of that history, these were human beings that in many ways I already knew, and that was deeply comforting to me in my travels. The knowledge that there was far more that made us alike than separated us. And that knowledge gave me renewed hope for resolution of conflicts like Ukraine and Russia, Gaza and Israel, Iran and Israel. That when we allow ourselves to see this shared humanity, as God and Jesus calls us to do, we can and will work ever more diligently for peace. And for a world where the dignity of all these fellow human beings will be recognized. And I pray for that day to come. And that right soon. God's blessings.